and by far it is not just about the money, it is about the ability of Europe to sit at the table when we are talking about the peace on our own continent. And we have to get a clarity on the financing needs and how we help Ukraine in the future today. Of course, we have to do it right. It is about Ukraine, and it is also about our member states, especially those who are the most affected. On the other hand, we are making progress in the accession process, because last week I was in Lviv, and the Commission has got clear instructions how to go on in the clusters 1, 2 and 6. So we are doing the technical negotiations, even the clusters are not officially open yet. And Ukraine is doing reforms. We have put down 10 points priority plan together with the government of Ukraine, what needs to be done first in the anti-corruption, and of course they have to do many reforms for strengthening their democratic institution and so on. So I am positive about the accession process, and I hope that today's European Council will help to get more clarity that we can further help Ukraine in these very critical times. Thank you. Wishing you a nice day.
President of the ALDE party, for our priority as well that we want to share with our colleagues from the member states is certainly finding a solution for Ukraine and the frozen Russian assets. For the ALDE party, it has been a priority since the beginning of the war to make Russia pay for what they are doing. And on the Mercosur, also as one of the negotiators in the European Parliament on the safeguards for Mercosur, I can report that we managed to get a deal last night in the trialogue and strengthened the safeguards. So we delivered solutions for the worries of the farming communities, and now it is in the hand of the Council to deliver on the Mercosur agreement. The Parliament has done their part, and for the ALDE party it is of utmost importance to deliver on the Mercosur agreement. It will boost our European economy, it will secure and create jobs in Europe, and it will strengthen our partnerships in the world. Failing to support the Mercosur agreement would be a bad signal to the world. Supporting the Mercosur agreement will be a strong signal. Europe is a tangible partner in the world, and it's a good signal to our economy and our businesses. Thank you very much. Voilà.
Ça c'est fait.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
Ouais, salut Trafic, tu m'entends, c'est Benjamin. Écoute, sur la vie ouest 39, je viens de faire un son de... Est-ce que le mettre dans pas m'écouter, mais tu sais, je sais pas comment dire, le mettre dans mon mobile. Ah, super. Correct.
And if I'm correct, Belgium, in the EU Commission, Belgium disagrees to give the assets to Ukraine, right? Like they don't all agree. That could also be a potential good question, I think.
Everybody.
Secretary General of European Democratic Party.
We think that this summit is really a decisive summit for the future of Europe. On the decision which the European leader will have to take on the financial support to Ukraine will depend the future of Ukraine and the future of Europe. We as European Democrats, we fully support the use of both capital and interest of the Russian frozen assets here in Belgium with Euroclear. Thank you very much.
How do you expect to rally support for the EU member states who do not support this decision?
I hope that Antonio Costa will lock them in the room and will open the room only when they get a deal. I hope he will do it and I think it's going to be effective. Thank you very much. Oui.
L'accord avec le Mercosur, est-ce que vous pensez qu'il faut qu'il y ait un vote maintenant ou un report?
Je pense que la demande de réciprocité, d'équilibre, elle est tout à fait justifiée. Et je sais que c'est difficile le parcours, mais il faut arriver à un parcours d'un côté. On a un véritable équilibre et réciprocité. De l'autre côté, on garde la vraie possibilité de signer un accord qui est très important pour l'industrie, pour l'agriculture européenne, mais aussi pour des questions géopolitiques.
Donc il faut le signer maintenant?
Il faut les signer s'il y a ces clauses de réciprocité qui assurent un équilibre. Donc ça aussi, c'est le travail des leaders. Au Justus Lipsius et au téléphone avec leurs collègues latino-américains. Merci beaucoup.
Une demi-heure pareil. Ah bon.
That was the second one.
Yeah.
What is she
She's Commission, European Commission. Exactly. Yeah, she probably arrived at 9. And we have different information because my colleague Elise told him that 30 minutes ago that he will make his statement, but the woman of Renew just told us like 10 minutes ago that because he will arrive at 9 late, he won't do anything. So
But he will come.
he will come. He will come. Yeah.
Okay. But he just wants to
Maybe.
But we don't know because the Élysée, the French house of the president, they told us that he will talk to us. They said to us, to the journalists, 30 minutes ago. So we don't know. Ça dépend de lui-même, je pense. Ça dépend de lui-même. Exactement. slide.
Yeah.
Et ouais. Yes, at least
They have to change something.
D'accord.
Just for the logistics in terms of family photo, if you are interested in that, since the French president will be a little bit late, we wait for this family photo. The moment he arrived, then we take you with us. But it's only photographers and cameramen. It's not rédacteur, huh? Yeah.
Ok, ouais. Et vous
Bah, c'est à vous de le lancer, hein.
Ah oui, d'accord. Mais
Après,
d'accord, ouais. Oui, pas de problème.
Voilà.
Merci.
Après, je sais pas s'il va s'arrêter, mais
Oui,
voilà,
alors,
n'hésitez
on
pas.
sera là. Just make a statement or not, and she said that it depends on you. So okay, it's okay. He will talk.
If you can make him talk. What is the battery life on this? Just press once. Okay, that's good.
Do we have another one for later? So the photo of that they
did it. All those social kids.
Yeah, and it was on social.
Yeah. Well, sometimes what happens that
He was just traveling. He was traveling
Ouais, sur la piste 1, ouais. Et voilà. Ça roule. Vas-y.
J'avoue que là, le scénario
tu as dit comment pour passer ton père
Oui, tu verras, on va le prendre là quand il va être.
Tu le chopes, tu le bloques, tu mets.
Quand je vais demander à Laurie comment.
How much time do we have? 15 minutes.
faire venir le président de l'autre côté. On leur laisse sa place. On peut bouger, on va se faire un centre peuplé.
Ils veulent faire venir Macron à la Paris.
Bon.
Le cyclone il va là-bas aussi. Parce qu'à mon avis, ça sera après.
Are we having?
Another hour.
No, I just done it. I guess we just have to wing it.
Je sais pas aussi innover.
Non, mais nous, le cool, c'est pas. Nous, on a un peu français. Nous, on prend pas celui-là. Ah oui, bah, c'est vrai qu'il y a deux poules là-bas. Non, mais après, l'autre coup.
Test.
Oui, depuis 3 ans. C'était pas. C'est bien, un temps fatigant, mais on va pas se plaindre.
If they also want to reduce the carbon emissions, how are they going to do the deal with South America?
For what?
Because free trade will mean more carbon emissions. So then how will they then reduce their carbon emissions if they're doing so many free trade deals?
Honestly, they're not going to do it.
About anything?
Have you ever seen any change in India? No. No. Proper change. No. They have to do something to keep people busy at least.
Yeah.
Otherwise, like Europe is talking about the Green Deal. Where is the Green Deal?
Where is green is only the money.
Yeah. The whole money goes to the big companies like Shell and all that in Europe. And the Dutch king is one of the shareholders of the Shell. Yeah. So just imagine where is the green?
Allerseits. Ja, wir haben 2 entscheidende Tage für Europa vor uns. Es sind vor allem 2 große Themen, die wir heute und morgen entscheiden müssen. Zum einen die weitere Unterstützung der Ukraine. Sie kennen meine Position. Ich möchte, dass wir die eingefrorenen russischen Vermögenswerte dafür nutzen. Ich sehe keine bessere Option als genau die. Mein Eindruck ist, dass wir zu einem Ergebnis kommen können. Ich verstehe die Bedenken, die es bei einigen Mitgliedstaaten gibt, vor allen Dingen bei der belgischen Regierung. Aber ich hoffe, dass wir sie gemeinsam ausräumen können und dass wir uns auch gemeinsam auf einen Weg begeben können, aus dieser Europäischen Union ein Zeichen der Stärke und der Entschlossenheit gegenüber Russland zu zeigen. Und wie notwendig das ist, zeigen ja auch die Reaktionen des russischen Präsidenten in den letzten Stunden. Das zweite große Thema, das wir entscheiden müssen heute und morgen, ist die Zustimmung der Europäischen Union zu dem abgeschlossenen Abkommen mit Südamerika, das Mercosur-Abkommen. Zur Erinnerung, darüber wird jetzt seit 25 Jahren verhandelt. Jetzt ist es Zeit, zu einer Entscheidung zu kommen. Wenn die Europäische Union glaubwürdig bleiben will in der Handelspolitik auf der Welt, dann müssen jetzt Entscheidungen getroffen werden. Und die Entscheidung kann nur lauten, dass Europa zustimmt und dass die Kommissionspräsidentin und der Ratspräsident morgen nach Südamerika reisen und dieses Abkommen unterzeichnen. Ich hoffe sehr, dass uns diese Zustimmung heute und morgen gelingt. Ich bin zuversichtlich, aber wir werden noch eine längere Diskussion zu beiden Themen im Europäischen Rat heute haben. Aus meiner Sicht ist das in der Tat die einzige Option. Wir stehen im Grunde vor der Wahl, europäische Schulden oder russisches Vermögen einzusetzen für die Ukraine. Und da ist meine Meinung klar. Wir müssen das russische Vermögen nutzen. Im Übrigen, es ist ja schon seit einer Woche jetzt endgültig immobilisiert. Das heißt, Russland kann ohnehin auf diese Vermögenswerte nicht mehr zurückgreifen. Und dann sollten wir sie, so wie die Kommission es vorgeschlagen hat, auch nutzen, nämlich mit einem entsprechenden Darlehen, sodass wir die Ukraine dann, wenn es notwendig ist, auch für die nächsten 2 Jahre unterstützen können. Herzlichen Dank.
Hogy vannak? Szerintem a befagyasztott orosz vagyon ugye az halott. Tehát tegnap este úgy láttam, hogy van elegendő ellenző ország ahhoz, hogy összeálljon az a mennyiségű szavazat, amit itt úgy hívnak, hogy blokkoló kisebbség. Tehát szerintem ez egy halott ügy. Lehet, hogy még egyszer nekifutnak, de semmi esély arra, hogy erre többség legyen. Tehát azt hiszem, hogy ez lekerült a napirendről. Bár lehet, hogy utóvét harcok még történnek, de azt hiszem, hogy ennek vége. Újra kell kezdeni az egész kérdésnek az áttekintését, hogy akkor hogyan tovább.
Olyan közös hitelt tudna támogatni, ahol Magyarországnak és Szlovákiának nincs pénzügyi felelősségvállalása, állítólag van ilyen forgatókönyv az asztalon.
Még nem tudjuk, hogy a meghalt, befagyasztott vagyon helyett milyen más javaslatok jönnek elő. Én is hallottam sok mindent. Beszéltem olyan emberek, akik közel vannak a tűzhöz, de egyelőre senki nem vállalkozott arra, hogy azt mondja, hogy a meghalt koncepció helyett egy új érkezik majd. Magyarországon az alkotmányos helyzet nagyon világos, van az alkotmányban egy szakasz, amelyik azt mondja, hogy a magyar kormány olyan hitelfelvételhez, amely Magyarország számára fizetési kötelezettséget teremt, csak parlamenti felhatalmazással járulhat hozzá. Nekem ilyen felhatalmazásom nincs, és nem hiszem, hogy valaha Magyarországon bármilyen miniszterelnök felhatalmazást kap a parlamenttől arra, hogy eladósítsa Magyarországot egy Európai Uniós hitelen keresztül. Tehát Magyarország számára az az út, hogy közös hitelből finanszírozzák Ukrajnát, semmiképpen sem járható, de a jogi korlátokon túl nem is értenék vele egyet, mert szerintem nem a háborút kell finanszírozni, hanem a békét. Én azt próbálom elérni itt ma, hogy a béke felé tegyünk lépéseket, ne pedig a háború irányába. A parlamentnek a döntéséről? Igen. Tegnap egy súlyos dolog történt, tehát miközben mi itt a magunk harcait vívjuk, akközben az Európai Parlamentben is komoly összecsapások vannak. Tegnap tárgyalták azt a javaslatot, amely egyébként szerintem jogszerűtlen, de most ezt tegyük félre, azt a javaslatot, hogy megtiltják az orosz gáz és olaj használatát minden tagállam számára. Ez azt jelenti Magyarország számára, hogy ha ez bekövetkezik, akkor a rezsit nem lehet védeni. Abban az esetben a családoknak a rezsiköltsége legalább 2, de inkább 3-szorosára fog nőni. Nagyon nagy csata volt, a mi Fidesz-KDNP-s képviselőink kiálltak Magyarország mellett, harcoltak Magyarországért, a többiek sajnos nem. A Tisza pedig egyenesen sunnyogott, tehát azt a megoldást választotta, hogy itt se voltam. A gazdatüntetésekre. A gazdáknak 100%-ig van igazuk. Nekik 2 bajuk van most ebben a pillanatban. Az első bajuk az a Mercosur nevű csomag, ami egy szabadkereskedelmi megállapodás lenne a latin-amerikai országokkal, ami megöli a gazdákat. Tehát Magyarország azon országok közé tartozik, aki nem támogatja a Mercosurt. Sokat gondolkodtunk arról, hogy mi volna jó. Voltak erről komoly szakmai viták Magyarországon, végül is az lett a magyar álláspont, hogy ezt nem támogatjuk. Itt is minősített többségre volna szükség, és én úgy látom, hogy vagyunk elegen Mercosur ellenzők, ami lehetetlenné teszi, hogy ezt a megállapodást aláírják. A terv az, hogy a bizottság elnökasszonya még a héten ezt alá akarja írni. Ezt szerintem most itt meg kell, és meg is tudjuk akadályozni. A másik gondja a gazdáknak az a Green Deal, ami azt jelenti, hogy úgy túlszabályozzák az agrár, tehát a mezőgazdasági munkákat, hogy az komoly költséget jelent és versenyhátrányt jelent. Tehát azt kell mondanom, hogy a Mercosur megállapodással lából lövik az európai gazdákat, de még előtte jól összekötözik a lábaikat, hogy semmi esélyük ne legyen egy globális versenyben. Ezért teljesen igazuk van a gazdáknak, a magyar kormány 100%-ig a gazdák mellett van. Örülök, hogy Magyarország ebből nem maradt ki, és itt vannak a magyar gazdák is. Hát ezt kérdezzék meg az oroszoktól.
Több mint fél éve eltelt miniszterelnök úr. Az a görögöknél mindig tragédiákkal torkoló, mire számít?
Még egyszer, bocsánat?
Hübrisz említett. A görögöknél mindig tragédiákkal torkoló.
Az alaphelyzet mégiscsak a következő. Van két ország, amely egymással háborúban áll. Oroszország és Ukrajna. Itt vagyunk mi, az Európai Unió. És az a terv, hogy az egyik háborúzó fél lefoglalt vagyonát elvesszük, és odaadjuk a másik háborúzó félnek. Ez nem más, mint hadüzenet. Túlterjeszkedés azon, amire nekünk egyébként feladatunk vagy mandátunk van. Nekünk ebben a háborúban nem szabad beavatkozni, ebből kívül kell maradni, és a békért kellene dolgozni. Most elmegyek a nemzetközi sajtóhoz. Because I would not like to see a European Union which is in war. To give money means war.
Yes. Why does it mean war?
Still on the agenda.
Sorry?
Are Russian frozen assets still on the agenda today?
I think it's killed. It's dead end. It's over. There is no sufficient high-level number of support behind it.
And are you acting in Europe's best interest or Moscow's?
Sorry?
Are you acting in Europe's best interest or Moscow's?
I'm just working for the peace, because I think what we have to do to make some steps to the peace, not to the war.
Why does money mean war?
Want more?
He wants more guarantees for the frozen.
Guarantees for what? The whole idea is a stupid one. To take away the money of somebody. There are two countries which are in war, yeah? It's not European Union, Russia and Ukraine. And somebody, European Union, would like to take away the money of one of the warring party and then to give it to another one. It's a marching into the war. So the Belgian Prime Minister is right. We should not do that.
They have to drag you out the budget.
hear too much that, you know, this is a crucial day or this is a crucial moment for Ukraine. But today does feel like it could be very significant. I say today, there's a chance if there's no agreement it could go into tomorrow as well. But this meeting is crucial. It's about trying to free up tens of billions of euros worth of frozen Russian assets to give to Ukraine to help fund them for the next couple of years, both in terms of fighting their war, but also paying for general civil society, to keep Ukraine functioning, basically. But it's controversial. These frozen assets are being held, most of them. I mean, there's actually quite a lot in the UK as well. The UK can make a separate decision. But most of those are being held at a bank, a clearinghouse called Euroclear, based here in Brussels. And the Belgian government is staunchly against giving them to Ukraine because they worry that at some point further down the line, 1 year, 5 years, 10 years from now, Russia will sue them for that money. Belgium will be left on the hook alone to foot that bill, which would cripple their economy. So there's got to be a lot of diplomatic wrangling to do today. There's already been a lot going on over the last couple of days. I'd say it's really hanging in the balance whether or not there'll be a decision in Ukraine's favour. If it does go Ukraine's way, if they can reach agreement to give up, to hand over that money, well, not only does it allow Ukraine to keep funding itself, it would give the EU a lot more power at the negotiating table. It would reduce Ukraine's leverage on Ukraine's dependency on the United States, particularly when Trump is kind of wavering. And it would show Vladimir Putin that Europe is united and Ukraine has the funding to carry on fighting for another few years, which, you know, the Russian economy might not have it.
Ali, great stuff. Thanks so much. Ali Bunkall there for us in Brussels. It's going to be a very, very interesting day, or as Ali said, day and a half to watch developments there.
To Sydney now, where the friends and family of the...
I understand Belgium is under a lot of pressure from Russia, from European countries, but also from United States. And in order to get off that pressure, actually, we should have a European proposal. Then Belgium will just abide by the law, and you know, whoever has any concerns can, you know, go to court against European Union. But I think the fundamental issue is that Russia is causing the damage in Ukraine, so they should also be responsible for the reparations, and this reparations loan is based on that very idea.
What do you make of the peace talks?
What happens if you fail?
Excuse me?
What happens if you fail to agree something today or tomorrow?
Well, we have to work on the plan A that we have, and we really need to have a solution because, like I said, Putin is banking on us to fail. We just can't afford to fail. We have to show that we are strong. Of course, we are 27 democracies. That takes time, and discussions take time. But in the end, unity is our strength, and we need to have a solution.
Are you comfortable with security guarantees for Ukraine and the path of these talks at this stage now?
Well, the security guarantees, the talks are going to the right direction. Ukraine really needs tangible security guarantees so that it is clear if they are attacked again, who comes in with the troops, who gives capabilities, so that, you know, it is assurance, not on paper, but really with real means. And there is important that also United States is a part of these security guarantees.
Do frozen assets jeopardize a US peace deal?
The peace deal is jeopardized by Russia that hasn't accepted anything. So again, you know, there's a strong push for peace, but it's one-sided as Russia hasn't agreed to anything. So that is the main risk. Again, you know, Russia is the one who has started the war, who is doing the bombing, harming the civilians. They can also stop this war, and we need to do everything that they will. And that's why we have the pressure. That's why we have the sanctions. And that's why we are also working on the reparations loan, so that there will be funding for Ukraine for the next 2 years.
About enlargement, you will also discuss enlargement and perspectives of
Yes, we will also discuss enlargement. Yesterday already with the Western Balkan countries, we had discussions when it concerns to Western Balkan countries. I think this is also a pivotal moment that we have to use in order to really build our geopolitical power. When there are voices who are saying that Europe is no good, then there are a lot of countries who want to join Europe. So definitely we have something good, and we have to make use of it, that we are also moving on so that the countries will come and join European Union.
In this case, you're messing with Georgian people. You already, before yesterday, mentioned that Georgian people expect your support on their fight.
We are supporting Georgian people, but we are not supporting Georgian government. So Georgian government is taking Georgia to the wrong direction, that goes not in the direction of European Union. And that's why our strong message to the Georgian people is that we stand with them, but as long as the government is making wrong steps, we are not going to go on with the candidacy. Thank you.
You said earlier that Eurobonds didn't fly. Is the reparations the only viable option at this point?
Well, it is the most viable option. The reparations loan is the most viable option right now on the table. We need to work with that, as we have tried other things before. So we have taken these negotiations quite far, also to address the issues that Belgium has had, so to take down the concerns. So I really do hope that we get this over the finishing line.
How important is it you have to change the immigration policy right now?
Well, the discussions are also ongoing, but it's not where I'm really involved.
How important is it to reach a decision on the assets compared to the other solution? Does it have implications for Europe's standing in the peace negotiations?
No, this is very important because it sends a strong signal to Russia that they can't outlast us. It sends a strong signal to Ukraine that there is a funding for the next 2 years. So the reparations loan is based on the principle that the one who is doing the damage has to also pay for this. So clearly this is something that is the most viable option that is right now on the table.
What will happen if there is no agreement today? What will happen?
Well, we'll concentrate our efforts to have the agreement today, or at least during this meeting. Maybe the meeting will not end today, but we will stay here as long as we have a solution.
What does it mean for Belgium money from Russia, the last chance for Ukraine?
Russia wants us to think that they can outlast us, and that's why it is important that we show that this is not the case. We know that the Russian economy is not doing well, and they are clearly banking on us to fail, so we shouldn't give them that.
President Donald Trump did not happy to make so many meeting conference with the President Zelensky. What's your reference?
Well, of course, we have seen strong push for peace, but it is one-sided, as we don't see Russians also wanting peace. I mean, even the Christmas truce was rejected by Russia. Therefore, our approach has been we have to put the pressure on the aggressors so that they would go from pretending to negotiate to actually come to the table and really negotiate. We are not there.
On the frozen assets, what does it mean for Belgium to be able to agree?
They have expressed their concerns on various topics, and various issues have been also replied and taken into account regarding their worries. But I think what is important is to understand that if we do this European proposal, we actually take the pressure off from Belgium, because then the whole of Europe is responsible and not Belgium being under the pressure. So the concerns that they have had, we also have had, amendments to address those concerns. So I really, really do hope that we get this agreement today. Thank you very much.
That's why he said you don't need to adopt
Well, but the reparation loan is for Ukraine, and Ukraine is in war. Russia is bombing Ukraine every day, so that's why the reparations loan is needed for Ukraine to be able to defend itself and the financing for Ukraine. So that is what is at stake right now.
When will you go ahead without Belgium?
Many member states have said that Belgium's consent is very important, so I don't think that we are going to move without Belgium feeling comfortable.
How do you rate the chances of agreement?
Well, I agree with Friedrich Merz, it's 50-50.
Hyvää huomenta tai aamupäivää. Koitan tästä flunssaltani saada asiat puhuttua. Todella tärkeä päivä tulossa, ehkä 2. Ja ylivoimaisesti suurin asia on jäädytetyt varat, eli sotakorvauslaina ratkaisu, sen aikaansaaminen. Minusta se on täysin välttämätöntä. Meillä ei ole käytännössä muita vaihtoehtoja Ukrainan rahoittamiseen. Ukrainan rahoitus loppuu käytännössä tämän vuoden lopussa ja ensi vuoden alkupuolella heille pitäisi saada kipeästi lisää rahoitusta ja siksi tämä ratkaisu on täällä nyt löydyttävä. Töitä on tehty viikkoja edellisestä huippukokouksesta lähtien tai sitä ennen jo, mutta nyt erittäin intensiivisesti on käyty neuvotteluja Belgian kanssa tietysti, jossa nämä jäädytetyt varat on, mutta myös sitten useiden muiden maiden kanssa, jotta saadaan tälle mahdollisimman vahva tuki ja että mahdollisimman monen jäsenmaan huoliin pystytään vastaamaan. Tämän aamun tilanne, kun olen keskustellut muun muassa von der Leyenin, liittokansleri Merzin ja useiden muidenkin päämiesten kanssa, on se, että hyvin lähellä ollaan, mutta vielä ne viimeiset ratkaisut on saatava puristettua täältä ulos. En voi varmaksi sanoa, että valmista tulee, mutta erittäin suuri pettymys olisi, jos näin kävisi, koska mielestäni ei ole muuta vaihtoehtoa. Tämä ratkaisu on saatava. Euroopan pitää tässä käyttää se pelitila, mikä meillä on, näyttää omaa vahvuuttaan, ennen kaikkea saada Ukrainalle ratkaisu, mutta myöskin suhteessa Yhdysvaltoihin ja Venäjään näyttää, että me olemme kykeneviä toimimaan. Tämä haastaa Euroopan unionia ja tämä pitää ottaa erittäin vakavasti. Tämä oli muun muassa aamun EPP-päämiesten kokouksessa minun viestini.
Ministeri Orpo, jos tätä sotakorvauslainan ratkaisua ei saada, onko Suomi valmis myöntymään tähän budjettiin perustuvaan yhteislainaan?
Yhteislainavaihtoehto ei käytännössä mielestäni ole, koska se vaatii yksimielisyyden. Ja me tiedetään joidenkin jäsenmaiden, erityisesti yhden asenne. Minusta se vie sen silloin pois pöydältä. Ja mä en halua käydä sitä keskustelua edes, vaan nyt keskitytään tämän ratkaisun aikaansaamiseen, koska tämä on ainut realistinen vaihtoehto.
Voidaanko Belgia ohittaa suojakorvauslainaa päättämässä?
Kai realismia on, että ei. Nämä varat on Belgiassa ja Belgialle tämä on ymmärrettävästi niin suuri kysymys ihan heille itselleen, että kyllä tämä ratkaisu pitää Belgian kanssa löytää.
Mikä tässä on liikahtanut, jos
No, jos ajatellaan niitä elementtejä, mitä alun perin on lähdetty ratkomaan, ensinnäkin se, että on laillisesti vahvalla perustalla, minusta se ratkaisu on löytynyt. Samoin viime perjantain päätös siitä, että nämä jäädytetyt varat pidetään jäädytettynä. Se oli erittäin iso päätös ja että se voidaan tehdä määräenemmistöllä. Lisäksi nämä takausvastuut, niin niissä on päästy hyvin pitkälle. Eli Belgia on mielestäni tyydyttävällä tavalla, uskoisin, ja monista yksityiskohdista, mutta ennen kaikkea niin kuin lailliset ja tähän taloudelliseen riskien jakamiseen liittyvät kysymykset on viety hyvin pitkälle.
Onko Suomi valmis laajaan? Anteeksi, otetaanko yksi kerrallaan STT:lle seuraava? Kysymys tästä rasismikoulusta. Japanin hallituksen edustaja on tänään toivonut Suomen hallitukselta reaktiota tähän asiaan. Niin miten kommentoitte tätä Japanin hallituksen kommenttia ja toivon, että kuinka laajaa vahinkoa tämä aiheuttaa?
Ensinnäkin aloitetaan taas sanomalla, että tämä toiminta ei ollut millään tavalla hyväksyttävää. Mä en hyväksy minkäänlaista rasismia. Ja koska tämä on aiheuttanut vahinkoa Suomi-kuvalle, niin siksi mielestäni hallitus minun nimissäni reagoi eilen hyvin voimakkaasti lähettämällä julkisen anteeksipyynnön näihin keskeisiin maihin, Japaniin, Etelä-Koreaan, Kiinaan heidän omalla kielellään. Minusta se on vahva viesti hallitukselta ja nyt tämä keskustelu pitäisi tänään saada poikki eduskunnassa ja tehdä selväksi se, että Suomi ei hyväksy minkäänlaista rasismia ja pahoittelee sitä, mitä on tapahtunut.
Onko tämä hallituksen sanktiomenettely riittävä katkaisemaan tällaiset ulostuomiot?
Arvioidaan sitä sitten, kun tämä päivä on pidemmällä. Minä nyt uskon siihen, että perussuomalaisilla on hyvä käsitys siitä, missä tämä asian kanssa mennään ja että he tekevät vastuullisia oikeita ratkaisuja.
Tuonne Hesarille otetaan viimeinen.
Ratkaisu on löydyttävä. Me ymmärretään heidän huolet, niihin on haettu ratkaisuja. Me ollaan heidän tukena. Ratkaisu on saatava tänään.
Onko Suomi valmis Belgian vaativiin laajoisiin takauksiin?
Suomen kanta on se, että ne vastuut täytyy olla rajatut. Ja mielestäni se on siltäkin pohjalta tämä ratkaisu on löydettävissä. Mutta noin yleisesti ottaen, jos neuvotteluissa tänään, mahdollisesti huomenna, tulee jotain, missä Suomen kantoja pitää tarkistaa, niin silloin olen tietenkin normaalijärjestyksessä yhteydessä suureen valiokuntaan, mutta tällä hetkellä uskon, että meidän olemassa olevien kantojen pohjalta ratkaisu on löydettävissä.
Onko mielestäni hyväksyttävää, että jotkut maat jättäytyisivät näiden takuiden ulkopuolelle?
En pidä siitä. Mutta minulla on kaikkein tärkeintä, että me saadaan ratkaisu, joka on voimakas, uskottava ja täyttää Ukrainan rahoitustarpeet. Ja silloin se vaan pitää sietää. Mutta nyt tehdään töitä, että näitä maita on mahdollisimman vähän. Ja varsinkin näiden, tai Unkari, joka on tunnetusti ollut vaikea venäjämielinen, niin siitä kun lähdetään eteenpäin, niin kyllä meidän pitäisi tänään saada käännytettyä mahdollisimman moni maa tähän yhteiseen rintamaan.
Kiitos ei oikein paljon.
Kiitos.
Well, just ar dúspáirte obviously cruinniú an háchtach inmh tá anaghuid fí cabal le gain Ukraine gan áras agus táid súile siléirú ar an méiretáid tarlú ó héamh na cainteanna agus síáin a bhaintach ach mar éine sin dar nó cratargadis I ggóhéic san Ukraine sa táchaí agus san asas agus an rud sin go léir le mí caint Conas Federling an Aontas na Eorpacha a bhéadú agus gan áras an budget agus an cap agus rud is an morga is fearr dhéanamh ó thaobh ferramóirí agus an capte. But it says a very comprehensive meeting ahead of us today, some really profound issues. Obviously, we expect an update in terms of the talks around a peace settlement in Ukraine and ceasefire. The situation is very, very challenging. And linked to that is the future financing of Ukraine and obviously the debate around immobilised assets. We're very much in favour of the utilisation of immobilised assets or the raising of a collateral loan against the assets to finance Ukraine over the next 2 years. And in our view, there has to be a deterrence against countries violating the UN Charter, undermining the sovereignty of other nations, and then destroying those countries, their civilian infrastructure, their energy infrastructure, without any any need then to rebuild. So there is, in my view, an important deterrence issue here that countries can simply destroy another country and expect others to pay for all of the reconstruction of that country. So this will be an issue of the day, really, I think. In addition, enlargement and Ireland, in the context of our presidency, are very clear that we want to see enlargement. Countries like Montenegro, North Macedonia, Albania and others, particularly Montenegro, we believe by the end of our presidency could be in a position to join in, that we would like to have the chapters closed off. And that will be an objective of the Irish presidency. And also, obviously, the question of Ukraine's accession in the context of the peace settlement will be another factor. And then the budget. The next budget for Europe, the multi-annual financial framework. We're pushing strongly for a ring-fence cap, but also to increase the levels of funding available. The current draft is not satisfactory from our point of view. The funding is about 80% of what the previous cap was, and we want to change that and improve upon that.
Belgium's objections can be overcome today.
Of course, I know that Russia is resisting Russian and strong Ukrainian authorities.
Well, again, I think we want to try and get agreement, to be fair, and we will work very hard to get agreement today. But we've already used the windfall element of that, so we will continue to explore ways that we can do this. But I think it is important that we get agreement today. It's important that Europe has cohesion today and unity on this question.
What's at stake if Europe does not decide to use it?
Tai yra problema, nes kiti būdai nėra tokie paprasti, jie reikalauja vienbalsiškumo principo ir gali būti tiesiog neprimtini. Tai kadangi šiuo klausimu.
I can't predict with certainty that, but there is a strong momentum behind getting a deal on the immobilised assets. And indeed, I will be meeting with my Nordic and Baltic colleagues just now before the main meeting, with that in mind. It is very important from the European Union's perspective that a strong, assertive position is taken out of this meeting. And when President Costa came to Ireland, that was one of the key issues we discussed. The importance of bringing this to a conclusion today to send a very clear message about Europe's unity on this question, because it's an important issue. And as I say, it's an important deterrence as well, that countries simply cannot invade and destroy another country's infrastructure, kill thousands of people, and that there's no redress or no necessity to have reparations or to pay for the reconstruction of such a country.
Taoiseach, just in relation to two questions on Mercosur and the small matter of the review back home. On Mercosur, Ireland has had a
enough time now to study the deal. Is there any specific additional safeguards or guarantees that Ireland is specifically looking for that would assure it so it could vote in favour of the deal?
Well, again, we have worked with like-minded countries in relation to this, and there have been 3 to 4 issues that are central to agriculture. The derogation, the nitrates derogation, was a very important issue.
Hello, bonjour, good morning. Bon dia, yes. As you know, we will have a very busy council today when we have the opportunity to discuss geoeconomics, enlargement, the long-term budget for the European Union and Ukraine. But allow me to focus on Ukraine. As you remember, last October we have made 2 very important decisions. First of all, to immobilize the frozen assets, Russian frozen assets in Europe until the end of the war and until Russia pays reparations to Ukraine. We deliver on this last week when the Council approved the long-term immobilization of the Russian frozen assets in Europe. The second decision we have made is to ensure the financial needs of Ukraine for 2026 and 2027. And today we will focus to approve the form to deliver on this. And as you know, the Commission presented several options. We worked very well, especially in one that have a large support in the European Council. And what I can ensure that we will work on this during today, if it's necessary, tomorrow. But we will never leave this Council without a final decision to ensure the financial needs of Ukraine for 2026 and 2027. Thank you very much. We will talk later. Thank you. Well, as you remember, last October we took the decision to ensure the financial needs to Ukraine for 2026 and 2027. To put in motion this decision is crucial to increase the pressure to Russia and to assure that Ukraine are in the best condition to negotiate a peace agreement. Our goal is to ensure as soon as possible a just and lasting peace in Ukraine, for Ukrainians and for the security of Europe. In October we took the decision to ensure this, and we asked the Commission to present several options. The Commission presented several options, and we have done a very good, worked very well with the Commission on all these issues, and especially in the reparation loans. I want always to commend Belgium and the Prime Minister Bart de Wever by the way that he very frankly raised critical, legal and technical issues in a very constructive way, and the Commission engaged to address all of these issues. And I think that we will conclude this debate in this European Council, and something I can assure you. First, we will never leave this Council without a final decision, and we will never approve the solution that was not ensure all the security for Belgium and the Belgians. Olá, bom dia. Tudo bem? Bom, hoje é um dia muito importante, onde vamos ter um debate sobre geoeconomia, onde vamos poder debater as relações comerciais internacionais, onde vamos poder discutir a melhor forma de abrir mercados para a nossa economia e proteger-nos da concorrência desleal, onde vamos discutir o alargamento, o investimento geopolítico mais importante na segurança da Europa, onde vamos poder ter a primeira discussão sobre o próximo quadro financeiro plurianual, de forma a assegurar que a União tem os meios necessários correspondentes à ambição que tem, e onde vamos discutir como é que garantimos o financiamento da Ucrânia para os próximos 2 anos. E essa decisão é crucial para garantir que a Ucrânia está numa posição de força nas negociações de paz e é o melhor contributo que nós podemos dar para alcançar uma paz justa o mais rapidamente possível. Há várias soluções possíveis, a Comissão apresentou-as, temos feito esse debate e aquilo que posso garantir é que não sairemos daqui sem uma decisão final sobre esse assunto, ou hoje ou amanhã. Vamos ver. Muito obrigado.
Το Ευρωπαϊκό Συμβούλιο του Δεκεμβρίου είναι απολύτως κρίσιμο, καθώς θα χρειαστεί να πάρουμε σημαντικές αποφάσεις για την χρηματοδοτική στήριξη της Ουκρανίας στη συνέχεια δεσμεύσεων που το Ευρωπαϊκό Συμβούλιο έχει αναλάβει. Η χώρα μας στηρίζει την Ουκρανία και θα υποστηρίξει οποιαδήποτε λύση μπορεί να της παρέχει την χρηματοδοτική σταθερότητα, προκειμένου η χώρα να είναι ασφαλής και να εξακολουθεί να αμήνεται απέναντι σε ρωσική εισβολή. Έχω τονίσει πολλές φορές όμως ότι οποιαδήποτε λύση πρέπει να είναι νομικά και δημοσιονομικά ασφαλής και να διασφαλίζει ότι τα χρήματα τα οποία θα πάρει η Ουκρανία και τα οποία θα δαπανίσει για εξοπλισμούς θα ληφθούν υπόψη και συγκεκριμένοι εθνικές προτεραιότητες που μπορεί να έχουν κράτη-μέλη. Θα συζητήσουμε επίσης το πολιετές δημοσιονομικό πλαίσιο, μια πρώτη συζήτηση μιας διαπραγμάτευσης η οποία αναμένεται να είναι μακρά. Η Ελλάδα στηρίζει με επιμονή τις κέραιες ευρωπαϊκές πολιτικές της συνοχής και της κοινής αγροτικής πολιτικής, έτσι ώστε να εξασφαλίσουμε ότι θα υπάρχουν απαραίτητοι πόροι προκειμένου αυτές οι εμβληματικές πολιτικές να συνεχίσουν να δημιουργούν καλύτερες συνθήκες για όλους τους Ευρωπαίους πολίτες αλλά και για τους αγρότες και για τους κτηνοτρόφους μας. Τέλος, θέλω να επισημάνω ότι σήμερα βρίσκομαι στο Ευρωπαϊκό
Problēmām, bet mēs Latvijā jau labi zinām, ka mēs jau labu laiku saskaramies ar dažādām Krievijas inicētām tiesas prāvām, gan pret mūsu uzņēmumiem. Tā kā ir jābūt gataviem, protams, tam, ka Krievija jau nesagaida, ka ja mēs visu ievērosim pēc likuma, tad viņi, protams, arī būs tie, kas visu ievēros. Tieši otrādāk. Es kaut kā reizēm domāju, ka Eiropā varbūt, es negribu teikt, ka trūkst izpratnes, bet reizēm pietrūkst tās kultūras sapratnes, kā mēdz Krievija rīkoties, ka, ja tu ievēro visu labi, viņi tā nedarīs. Diemžēl viņi tieši izmantos to, ka tu esi kārtīgs un rūpīgs saimnieks un ievēro likums, un tieši tāpēc spiedīs tevi 2 soļus tālāk, jo uzskatīs, ka tas ir gana vājš lēmums. Tā kā es domāju, šis ir diezgan izšķiros brīdis arī mums kā Eiropas līderiem.
Šodien runāsiet arī par MFF. Cik tālu šai sarunai vajadzētu pavirzīties šajā vietā?
Šodien būs tikai tāda ietvera saruna un tāds pats sākums, jo skaidrs neviens jau šeit negaida, ka mēs vienosimies par MFF. Tā noteikti būs visa nākamā gada saruna, un tā cerība ir, ka nākamā gada decembrī varētu vienoties, bet arī tas vēl nav zināms. Bet šobrīd vairāk ir saruna par to, pirmā varbūt viena no saistībā ar to, vai kohēzijā ir jāietilpst arī lauksaimnieku finansējums. Mēs zinām, ka šodien būs liela lauksaimnieku protesta, arī Latvijas zemnieki protestēs, un es viņus ļoti labi saprotu, jo tas ir kaut kas jauns, nav arī diezgan skaidrs, cik tad liels tas finansējums gala rezultātā būs, un Latvija arī ir teikusi, ka mums īsti, lai arī mēs izprotam komisijas piedāvājumu, īsti līdz galam mums viņš neapmierina. Tāpēc noteikti arī domāju, ka iešu pie mūsu zemniekiem, aprunāšos un arī paudīšu savu viedokli šodien Eiropadomē.
Kas būs jūsu vēstījums?
Nezinu, vēl iešu, skatīšos, ko viņi grib prasīt, bet es domāju, viņi jau labi arī zina, ka es viņus šeit atbalstu. Viņi noteikti grib arī pievērst uzmanību, pasakot, ka viņiem tas ir svarīgi, pievērst arī noteikti manu uzmanību, izstāstīt, kas ir tās būtiskās lietas. Tā problēma jau ir tajā, ka mums ir ļoti daudz jautājumu uz galda. Mums ir gan Ukrainas finansējums, gan nākamie daudzgadu budžeta jautājumi, gan drošības jautājumi Eiropā šobrīd, un skaidrs, ka tā situācija mainās, un tas, ko arī iekšēnē šeit runā, ka pie tā, ka Eiropa arī finansē šobrīd drošību, ko viņi nekad nav darījusi, visur neko nemainīt, mēs nevaram. Mēs labi atceramies, kā mēs Latvijā darījām. Mēs tomēr administratīvos resursus publiskajā valsts pārvaldē stipri samazinājām, lai panāktu tādu finansējumu, kādu mums, vismaz šobrīd vajag aizsardzībai. Paldies.
Do you think European credibility is on the line in this debate today? How much do you think the divisions have been sort of emphasized by the way this has gone?
Divisions?
Divisions in Europe. Disagreements.
Disagreements. I'm probably always try to find something positive about even very bad situations. And I don't think this is a situation where we cannot find a solution. There are many options on the table, probably 2 of them if you speak about Ukraine. The first one, and I think the best option, is to use the frozen assets as well to show a strategic move towards that Europe can decide, and Europe is able to decide and to show a little bit of red flag to Russia, it could be really a strategic and political move towards those negotiations which will be held on Sunday in Miami. But there are other options to use like a Europe's loan, which is as well one opportunity, but we need unanimously decided. But the most important is to find a solution for Ukraine, how we will finance what they need in 2026-27, because nevertheless, negotiations for peace are here, but peace is not yet in Ukraine. We can see it every day.
So is this message then to the US as well, that Europe is not, as Trump has said, weak and decaying?
I don't feel myself very weak, probably because we all live in a border country with Russia and Belarus, and I know how our society really feels about those situations, and we know that Russia always uses some legal aspects, but we have to be a little bit smarter than that. And if we will play by rules, it doesn't mean Russia will play by rules. So we have to find new rules how we can get this situation solved. That's why we are politicians, and that's why we really need to make a decision here. And I believe Europe can do it, because from other aspect, Putin never estimated Europe be so united as we are, and we have been pretty much united. And sure, there are negotiations which will take place today because many countries has very sensitive issues, but I think we will have a decision.
But how much is the rhetoric coming out of the White House of Ukraine and the criticism of Europe? How much is it ramped up?
I think the most important is not the criticism is something which is driving us, but Ukraine is Europe, and we are Europe, and our citizens live in Europe, and more than anything, we all understand that we need to secure peace in Europe. We need to secure that our citizens don't need to wake up every morning to read news. Is there some drones coming our space or not? We really need to find a solution for peace negotiations for ourselves, more than anything else. Thank you.
Bonjour, good morning. We have an intensive day of discussions ahead of us. It's of course, as you all know, about how to finance Ukraine in the long term on the one hand, and I hope we also have some time to discuss the future of the enlargement of the European Union. But on Ukraine, we are focused of course on the objective, that is to find the necessary means to finance Ukraine in the years to come, because Ukraine is fighting for us. It's something that goes beyond Ukraine, but the way to achieve that financing, there are several options on the table. In my view, the two are equal in achieving that objective. One is to use the European budget, and the other one is to find a way to use the Russian sovereign assets, i.e. the money from the Russian central bank, to use that as a guarantee for a loan to Ukraine. The first option is easier, but it requires a broader majority or even a unanimity. It's easier because it doesn't jeopardize the financial stability of the Eurozone, and it is something that does not entail so many technical discussions. Using the Russian sovereign assets is something that has never been done before, so it is something that raises complex legal issues which are often underestimated in the public opinion or by the media. My main point is that if we take a European decision that affects one member state, we need to share the risk of that. We don't know how Russia will react. There might be lawsuits against the country that hosts most of those sovereign assets, i.e. Belgium, and therefore we need to give Belgium the necessary assurances, the guarantees, and that is also something that will potentially entail problems in some of our countries, because guarantees are financial commitments that member states need to take. So a difficult day ahead, but I'm optimistic that we can find a solution if we really want to support Ukraine in the long term.
Herr Wilfred, es keine Einflussform bei Frozen Assets. Was ist die Alternative, um die Finanzierung der Ukraine sicherzustellen?
Die Europäische Kommission hat zwei Optionen auf den Tisch gelegt. Eine ist, das europäische Budget zu gebrauchen. Das wäre viel einfacher, weil russisches Staatsvermögen zu gebrauchen wirft sehr viele juristische Fragen auf. Ich glaube, dass die gelöst werden können, aber unter anderem heißt das auch, dass alle Mitgliedstaaten Belgien auch Staatsgarantien geben muss, und darüber wird wenig geredet. Wir sind bereit, als Luxemburg das zu machen. Ich glaube, die Niederlande auch. Wir hatten gestern ein Benelux-Treffen darüber, aber das muss dann auch durch die Parlamente unserer Mitgliedstaaten gehen. Aber ich glaube, wir können nicht ein Land allein lassen. Anders muss ich auch darauf hinweisen, dass auch russische Staatsvermögen in Frankreich liegt. Und wir müssen dann natürlich auch darauf pochen, dass alle Mitgliedstaaten gleich behandelt werden. Es ist nicht nur ein belgisches Thema.
Glauben Sie, dass Belgien das Gefühl, Belgien könnte jetzt zustimmen, dass genug vorgelegt wurde, um Belgien zu überzeugen?
Das war gestern noch nicht der Fall, aber die Sitzung beginnt ja erst heute Morgen. Ich glaube, es sind noch sehr viele Fragen, die eine Antwort brauchen. Wir sind gewillt, eine Antwort zu finden, aber das verlangt natürlich von jedem einen Schritt Richtung Belgien. Es ist nicht nur ein belgisches Thema, es geht auch darum, dass die Finanzstabilität in der Europäischen Union muss Solidarität spielen.
Was passiert, wenn es heute keine Einigung gibt?
Ich bin ein Optimist, wir werden eine Einigung finden.
Eine Frage bitte. Glauben Sie, dass Belgien die Gelder freigibt? Zweite Frage, wenn Sie über Migration sprechen heute, glauben Sie nicht, dass EU eine neue Migrationspolitik braucht?
Zur zweiten Frage, nein. Ich glaube, wir haben einen Asyl- und Migrationspakt, der muss umgesetzt werden. Und wir sind dabei, das zu machen. Was Belgien anbetrifft, es ist nicht, dass Belgien Gelder freigibt. Dies ist keine Beschlagnahmung von Geldern, sondern es ist wir gebrauchen das Staatsvermögen von Russland, was bei Euroclear liegt, als Garantie für ein Darlehen an die Ukraine. Und das ist eine komplizierte Frage. Die ist viel komplizierter, als das manchmal beschrieben wird. Moralisch ist das gut zu verstehen, das Geld zu benutzen, aber ich glaube, es wirft sehr viele Fragen auf. Und ich hätte mir auch gewünscht, dass die Europäische Zentralbank ein Gutachten hierzu abgegeben hätte. Ich glaube, wir sollten diese Bedenken ernst nehmen. Aber noch einmal, wir sind konstruktiv und ich glaube, eine Lösung können wir finden. Vielen Dank. No. I think migration will not be a big issue today. We have an asylum and migration pact that, yes, there are many topics on the agenda, but I think Ukraine will be the most important topic because we will also have the visit or conversation with the president of Ukraine. We will also talk about enlargement. I think enlargement is also very important as a geostrategic investment into the future. I think we need to make progress on enlargement. We had yesterday the meeting with the Western Balkans. I think if efforts are made by the candidate countries, they also need to be rewarded. And I prefer the Western Balkans to be part of the European Union rather than Russia, China or others to expand their presence in those regions. So I think migration will not be a key topic today on the agenda. Thank you.
In this case, what's your evaluation, estimation regarding Georgia as a candidate country, and what will be your message to Georgian people who are fighting now in this more than 1 year for European future?
The process to EU accession is a merit-based process, and my message to all countries is the same. If they fulfill the criteria, we will move forward on those discussions. Thank you very much.
Alistair.
A long year.
Got a little smile out of Alistair there, though. I'll take it. Are you smiling when you're looking at where these peace talks are going?
I should call you Sophy Studio, maybe. I think that it is in the balance here. The general vibe is that a deal needs to be done, and it needs to be done during this meeting, whether or not it takes a day, 2 days, or even longer. The importance is trying to get Ukraine the money it needs to continue fighting Russia for a year or two more, if that's what it takes. There is disagreement, particularly the Belgians, who sort of have not custodianship, but most of the frozen Russian assets are in Belgium. And the Belgian concern is that Russia will take action against them through the courts or through other ways, and they will be left isolated and on the hook for that. So that is why the Belgians are against it. Viktor Orban, the Hungarian leader I spoke to earlier, he's against it. He thinks more money, as he said to me, is more war. So his idea, I mean, people accuse him of being very pro-Kremlin, but his position is that if you give Ukraine money, then they'll be able to keep on fighting. But I'm sure President Zelensky, who is expected here today, will say, yeah, but that is the point. We need to keep defending ourselves and put Russia in a position where it no longer wants to continue the war. So an awful lot to discuss. I think it was sort of best summed up, though, by the Polish leader Donald Tusk when he arrived.
Now we have a simple choice: either money today or blood tomorrow. And I am not talking about Ukraine only, I am talking about Europe. And this is our decision to make, and only ours. I think all European leaders have to finally rise to this occasion. And this is all what I can say today. Now.
I asked Kaja Kallas, the EU High Representative for Foreign Affairs, effectively sort of the Foreign Secretary for the EU earlier, what chance she would put on a deal being found. She put it at 50-50. So I think that pretty much sums up where things are as they begin this meeting, a meeting that's probably going to go on long into the day and possibly into tomorrow as well.
It's so interesting, Ali, that
dafür soll also Velo sind zu gucken, die Belsch Bedenken zu beantworten. Ich will auch denken, so wir halten noch drauf, dass es eine Gleichbehandlung gibt von den Abwehren, egal auf welchem Land zu sein. Es sind noch 10.000 Euro zu Lützburg. Wir können sagen, das ist ganz wenig, aber für die Russen also doch ein froh, wie behandeln wir die Suchen, wie eine Attacke können, ob die Länder kommen, die sich hier an dem Deal bewegen. Dafür brauchen wir eine gemeinsame Decision, für das nicht ein Land kann ein Zielscheif gehen von den Russen.
Option vom EU-Budget. Da brauche ich ja Unanimität. Das geht um manches Land, das gesagt wird, nee, wird darum geschafft, dass die Option, die dafür gesagt die Lützburg favorisiert, wird darum geschafft, für das Land zu überzeugen. Sieht da noch eine Chance, dass die Option noch überhaupt noch durch?
Die Optionen sind selbstverständlich durch. Ob die Länder, die da Retizenz mit denen geschafft haben, das kann ich nicht so, weil das an den Händen von der Europäischen Kommission. Ich selber beginne die Premierministerin Lorecht an ein paar Minuten. Ich schon nicht mit denen geschwärzt.
Dem Herr Orban dann?
Den Herr Orban wissen wir, dass aber auch andere Länder, Slowakei, höchstwahrscheinlich Tschechei, echt auf der Seite von Russland stehen, wie vom Rest der Europäischen Union. Ich meine, dass wir sollen auf der Seite von der Ukraine stehen, weil die Ukraine kämpft für Prinzipien, die über die Ukraine raus auf die Reise wichtig sind. Und dafür stehen wir auf der Seite von der Ukraine. Und da wollen wir eine Lösung finden, die der Ukraine an Europa hilft. Merci.
din partea Ungariei cu Ucraina politic?
Da, legat de extindere, după cum știți, ieri a avut loc un summit cu Balcanii de Vest, în care au fost prezenți liderii a 5 din 6 țări din Balcanii de Vest și a fost o discuție și cu membrii Consiliului și cu reprezentanții acestor țări. Acum discuția o să fie numai de către membrii Consiliului și, bineînțeles, se va discuta și partea de Balcan de Vest și partea de Moldova-Ucraina, cu toate discuțiile care sunt aici. Pentru moment, așa cum înțeleg, opoziția Ungariei față de Ucraina există.
Good morning. Bonjour, good morning. Bun dia. As you know, we will have
bineînțeles, numai că ceea ce s-a spus în spațiul public, s-a spus că metodele de, să spunem, intimidare a acestor magistrați sunt mult mai subtile decât niște chestiuni foarte directe de intimidare. Și atunci, evident că orice voce din spațiu public care spune lucruri esențiale trebuie protejată. Dar doar am făcut nuanța asta, că modul în care pot fi luate măsuri împotriva lor sunt mai subtile și suntem atenți la toate.
Domnule președinte, subiectul summitului este împrumutul pentru Ucraina. Ce variant este mai bună sau ce variant are șanse mai mari? Împrumutul în baza sau cel în baza?
Este adevărat că este subiectul cel mai discutat între participanții la această reuniune și tocmai pentru că Ucraina este importantă pentru securitatea României, noi susținem oricare dintre variantele de ajutor financiar pentru Ucraina. Discuția începe cu acele active blocate activele rusești blocate de către instituții din Europa. O secundă. USR va consulta și pe dumneavoastră înainte de a avea pe domnul Miruță la apărare? Și pentru domnul Miruță și pentru domnul Darău sunt oameni care am încredere. Da.
Bună dimineața, domnule președinte, v-ați remat partea voiam să vă întreb dacă aveți aceeași părere în ceea ce privește prescripția pentru faptele de corupție cu premierul Ilie Bogdan. Dacă considerați că nu ar trebui să existe prescripție pentru faptele mari de corupție.
Da. E o discuție pe care să o avem în spațiul public. În momentul acesta, deci întrebarea fundamentală, în opinia mea, este următoarea. În momentul acesta, pentru fapte mari de corupție, atât din codul penal cât și din acea lege specială a DNA-ului, termenul de prescripție ajunge undeva la 15 ani. Eu cred că problema fundamentală este de ce noi nu reușim în 15 ani să rezolvăm o faptă de corupție. Adică ar trebui în 2-3 ani de persoana care este vizată de un astfel de dosar să-i se termine și cercetarea și judecarea, ca să aibă o soluție. Asta e problema fundamentală.
Coaliție de guvernare, având în vedere atacurile acum între PSD și USR pe moțiuni simple, mai considerați că există viitor pentru coaliție?
Nu.
Și cum ar putea funcționa? Pentru că în momentul de față este blocat totul.
Nu este blocat totul. Ați avut un acord, nu discut conținutul, dar ați avut un acord pe impozitul pe cifra de afaceri, pe salariul minim. Deci această coaliție, așa cum funcționează în plan administrativ, legislativ. Bineînțeles că ar putea să fie mult mai puțin zgomotoasă în atacurile între părți, dar ea funcționează.
Ar trebui să voteze o moțiune simplă împotriva ministrilor PSD?
Nu știu. E important că Pe partea administrativ-legislativă funcționează, asta e opinia mea. Bine, mulțumesc, ne vedem diseară. This is the first one that is taken in account, and we'll see if it will work or not. If not, there is a
Well, just our dúspáirte obviously cruinniú an háchtach inmh tá annaghuid fé cabal le going Ukraine gan áras agus tá ag súile siléirú ar an méiretáid tarlú ó héamh na cainteanna agus sé cáinna bhaintach ach mar aon sin dar nó creatargadis I ggóhéic san Ukraine sa táchaí agus san assets agus an rud sin go léir be mé ag caint chuna sa federling an Aontas na Eorpacha a bhéadú agus gan áras an budget agus an cap agus an morgue is fearr dhéanamh ó thaobh Ferramóri agus an catte. But it says a very comprehensive meeting ahead of us today, some really profound issues. Obviously, we expect an update in terms of the talks around a peace settlement in Ukraine and ceasefire. The situation is very, very challenging. And linked to that is the future financing of Ukraine and obviously the debate around immobilised assets. We're very much in favour of the utilisation of immobilised assets or the raising of a collateral loan against the assets to finance Ukraine over the next 2 years. And in our view, there has to be a deterrence against countries violating the UN Charter, undermining the sovereignty of other nations, and then destroying those countries, their civilian infrastructure, their energy infrastructure, without any any need then to rebuild. So there is, in my view, an important deterrence issue here that countries can simply destroy another country and expect others to pay for all of the reconstruction of that country. So this will be an issue of the day, really, I think. In addition, enlargement. And Ireland, in the context of our presidency, are very clear that we want to see enlargement. Countries like Montenegro, North Macedonia, Albania and others, particularly Montenegro, we believe by the end of our presidency could be in a position to join and that we would like to have the chapters closed off. And that will be an objective of the Irish presidency. And also obviously the question of Ukraine's accession in the context of the peace settlement will be another factor. And then the budget, the next budget for Europe, the multi-annual financial framework. We're pushing strongly for a ring-fence cap, but also to increase the levels of funding available. The current draft is not satisfactory from our point of view. The funding is about 80% of what the previous cap was, and we want to change that and improve upon that.
Belgium's objections can be
Of course, I know that Russia is resisting. Russia is opposing Syria and strong Ukrainian army.
Well, again, I think we want to try and get agreement, to be fair, and we will work very hard to get agreement today. But we've already used the windfall element of that. So we will continue to explore ways that we can do this. But I think it is important that we get agreement today. It's important that Europe has cohesion today and unity on this question.
What's at stake if Europe does not decide to use
Tai yra problema, nes kiti būdai nėra tokie paprasti, jie reikalauja vienbalsiškumo principo ir gali būti tiesiog nepriimti. Tai kadangi šiuo klausimu.
I can't predict with certainty that, but there is a strong momentum behind getting a deal on the immobilised assets. And indeed, I will be meeting with my Nordic and Baltic colleagues just now before the main meeting, with that in mind. It is very important from the European Union's perspective that a strong, assertive position is taken out of this meeting. And when President Costa came to Ireland, that was one of the key issues we discussed. The importance of bringing this to a conclusion today to send a very clear message about Europe's unity on this question, because it's an important issue. And as I say, it's an important deterrence as well, that countries simply cannot invade and destroy another country's infrastructure, kill thousands of people, and that there's no redress or no necessity to have reparations or to pay for the reconstruction of such a country.
Taoiseach, just in relation to two questions on Mercosur and the small matter of review back home. On Mercosur, Ireland has had enough time now to study the deal. Is there any specific additional safeguards or guarantees that Ireland is specifically looking for that would assure it so it could vote in favour of the deal?
Well, again, we have worked with like-minded countries in relation to this, and there have been 3 to 4 issues that are central to agriculture. The derogation, the nitrates derogation, was a very important issue. We've had very constructive engagement with the Commission on that and negotiation to achieve a 3-year extension, which should not be underestimated in terms of the impact on agriculture more generally. We have the multi-annual financial framework and the budget, which I think is going to be a very big issue over the next 12 months, because as it's currently drafted, it's not satisfactory from our point of view or from Irish farmers in terms of the amount and the size of that budget, and we do need to increase that. And then we have Mercosur and the SBS, the safeguards. We're still working on those and what greater additionality, because there are concerns about products coming in that do not meet with Irish or European standards. But we have a very robust agricultural industry. We export up to 20 billion now, and our beef exports and our dairy exports and others are growing. And you know, in terms of grain and so on, whiskey exports are also expanding. So we have a lot of sectors. Trade has been very good for Ireland. We're conscious of that, but we will work with other like-minded countries. There's no sense that there will be a resolution to that this week. At the moment, I don't see I don't see a prospect of that, but one never knows. There could be further negotiations before this week is up, but that's my sense of it at the moment.
Just on the review, Taoiseach, just on the review.
Sorry?
Brazilian president said he will walk away if the Europeans are looking for more safeguards, more conditions.
Well, I can't comment on what the Brazilian president is going to do, but I think Europe is entitled, and European member states are entitled to discuss this and press for the strongest possible safeguards in respect to food, and to make sure that that European farmers are not at a disadvantage. But we have discussed this. To be fair, over the last 12 months there's been a significant change in terms of the level of the safeguards and
c'est quelqu'un qui est même véhicule avec des caméras. C'est parce que là, j'ai une véhicule qui en permanence. La capacité de l'Europe, d'abord,